Okay, so let's do Percy Jackson episode 4. So it starts with another flashback. Well, turns out it was a dream Percy was having, but of him getting a swim lesson with it was a parent child type swim lesson. I guess if they're small enough that they the parent goes into the water with them. I took swimming lessons. I never recall this being a thing. But anyway, things change. I mean, I'm in my 50s, so, Anyway, so Percy just doesn't want to try swimming. Even though his mother is begging him because this she might not always be there to help him, and this is a skill he needs to learn. Well, he is the son of Poseidon, so I'm surprised he didn't just take to the water because, he's the son of Poseidon. But no, he's scared. So, normal for a little kid to be scared of water. Okay. So, she's just really being desperate, like something was coming for him right this instant. And Percy's like, chill. It's like, chill. That's what you always tell me. Take a deep breath, and it's gonna be fine. And he said, you're never going to leave me. And then we see him in this desolate place with someone or something which he had previously seen, calling him a hero, and that, he's a forbidden child, and being a forbidden child and hero is even worse than just being a forbidden child. And then you see what looks like the ground crumbling under his feet. Oh, behind him, but... And then Percy wakes up, and so he asks Annabeth if she's awake. So they talk, and he talks about her relationship with her mom. And Annabeth is, we learn a bit more about her, that her father really loved her, but then he married this woman with kids who didn't want Annabeth around. And I know that there are people like that exist. I'm well aware of that. And it just makes zero sense. It's like the other spouse has to ignore his own kid in favor of my kids because, they're my kids, but I don't want to have anything to do with his kid? How does this ever make sense? But anyway, Annabeth realized that she was considered a problem, so she left. So they're just chatting, and there's more reference to Percy being similar to Talia. And he's asking her about her, and Percy's like, I don't get gods. I mean, you have to burn offerings just to talk to them. I had to beat up on Clarice just to get my dad to acknowledge my existence, which I laughed at that. I just thought that was hilarious. But, and you can see that they're on a train. So there was obviously a time jump because last week they were nowhere close to a train. So, and this was a short episode. So, so they're chatting. Then Grover wakes up. And it's like, oh, you're awake. It's like, well, I am now. So, Grover sounds like, the way he's talking, if it was anyone else, I would think that they were drunk or hungover. Because it was just really, really weird. It's obvious he just wanted to go back to sleep and be left alone. So then we cut to them sitting in the dining car, and the conductor is coming down the hall and down the aisle, and he asks Annabeth for her ticket. Now, why he didn't, when he said ticket please, I thought he meant all three of them, but it was just Annabeth, which, that's weird, okay. But anyway, he takes them to their sleeping car, and it is completely destroyed. And they said that this woman said she witnessed somebody breaking the glass, and they heard children talking. Now, I'm sorry, but if he said that the glass was open from the outside, right? If it was open from the outside, then how are the kids being even looked at with any sort of suspicion? I mean, obviously they were inside the car. I don't know, maybe he thought that they didn't have tickets and that they bust in or something. I don't know. This made no sense to me. So she asks, are we being arrested? And then she asks, and he takes umbrage with her tone. And it's like, she's asking if they're being arrested. What tone? Oh yeah, someone reminded me, she's black. Of course. That makes perfect sense now. So then you see them back sitting in the dining car, and apparently they have been arrested because they mentioned that they're going to have to go downtown, and how the hell do they explain this? And my response is, how do you explain something that you literally did not do? You weren't there. Grover said that when you left the car, it was intact. So, what exactly is there to explain? You don't have to explain that you're demigods and that you're on a quest, because none of that is relevant. You have no idea how that happened. End of story. But, again, they're kids, so. So then the woman in question comes to sit with them, and she starts saying, oh, you're afraid. I'm a mom. I understand how afraid you guys are. And then we find out that she is the mother of all monsters. So, and she has her baby with her. And now, I'm not sure how the rest of the world is perceiving this. The chimera growling and her talking to what's in the backpack. I mean, seriously, how is nobody noticing this? I understand that there's this thing called the mist, that so humans perceive things differently than what the gods and demigods do, but come on, at some point they've got to notice something. So it attacks Percy and spears him with what looks like a porcupine quill. And so she's still talking to them, and she's threatening them. So they realize they have to get the hell out of Dodge. And so they're running down the train cars. And of course the police are following them because, well, they've been arrested. But the funniest part was there was this family just sitting in the car, minding their own business, having fun with the kids. and they see the three of them run past, and then you hear this, you feel this shaking, you hear like heavy footsteps crashing down, and then they look down and they see this little chihuahua. I thought it was a Yorkie, but could be a chihuahua. And which is hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious because they see this monster. So they get off the train, and Annabeth points out that the chimera won't stray far from its mother because it's still a baby. But they have to get out of there. So they decide that they have to go to Athena's temple, which for some reason is inexplicably the St. Louis Arch. Why? I do not know, but why would her temple be a tourist spot? So, and that's another thing. They walk in and Annabeth is talking about worshiping Athena and all of that. And it's like, wait a minute. Wait just 1 minute. How is, I mean, people are looking at them, but maybe they're just thinking they're having a weird conversation rather than not hearing what they're saying or something. Because, like earlier in the episode, when Percy starts to feel the effects of the quill, it turns out it is poisonous. And they try to help him by covering him with water in the fountain, which isn't working, and Annabeth correctly points out that it's not a natural water source. So, and that's probably why he's not being healed, whereas before he was healed by the sea. So Grover is very uncomfortable being in the arch because it has a bunch of dead animals, which, well, Athena is the goddess of the hunt, so duh. But he's not comfortable with it because, well, he's a satyr, so of course he won't be comfortable. So Grover decides to try to find train tickets to get out of St. Louis since their train exploded. And while he's doing that, Percy is trying to convince Annabeth, who heard Akanita say something. Obviously, it was just telepathic because nobody else heard it, including Percy and Grover. And so Annabeth is, talking about how she worships Athena, and it goes on about, and she mentioned earlier that it is a temple writ large, so maybe Percy could get help from his father. And someone pointed out that what I should have realized, but we'll get to it in a sec. So they are going up to the top floor, up to the arch, because that's apparently where the temple is. And then they find out that Ikanita and the chimera, which I had to look this up because I'm looking at the chimera and saying, this doesn't look right, what the hell? Maybe I just don't remember what a chimera looks like. No, I was right. That is not a chimera. And I'm assuming that they did it because maybe it cut costs on special effects. Because this dude looked like a giant lion. But anyway. So they get up to the to the arch, and they finally get Annabeth to explain what she heard, and that normally monsters can't get into Athena's temple, but because of her Annabeth's insolence, and they assume it's because of Medusa's head. And it's like, number one, since when do you care about fair play? You're a god. You're fickle. I mean, no, what was pointed out was Percy is the son of Poseidon. Medusa had already mentioned that Poseidon basically lured her away from worshiping Athena. So it's not so much that, now, the monster might have said to Annabeth that it was her insolence. But was it really her insolence with the Medusa head? Because, like Percy said, he's the one who sent it to Mount Olympus. Annabeth's like, yeah, but I didn't stop you. I think it's more of the insolence is that you brought the child of Poseidon into her temple after all Poseidon did to her. Now, whether you think that her anger is petty, which the Greek gods are nothing if not petty. So, but yeah, it's probably that. It was probably that one. not anything to do with Medusa. It's the fact that you brought Poseidon's kid to the temple. So they run up to the arch, and of course the arch is packed. It's crowded because, well, it's a tourist attraction, so of course it's crowded. So Annabeth does what any kid would do in that situation. She pulls the fire alarm. Because, that way to get everybody out there while they fight. Because apparently the mist can only do so much. I mean, you even saw when the Chimera was coming towards the arch where they were at the fountain. There were cars crashing all over the place. So I'm sure that people are aware of what was happening. Not necessarily that was the Chimera doing it, but so they would have recognized something. So get everybody out. And Annabeth is trying to have Grover take Percy, and so they can get to Hades. And Percy, seemingly doing the nice thing, he's going to give Annabeth his sword. Well, he used that as a trick to push her out, and he locked himself in with Echinida and the Chimera. And, of course, neither Annabeth nor Grover are thrilled with this, and we don't see him again for the rest of the episode. So we don't know if they saw what ends up happening to Percy, or what happened, or what happens to them, or if they go off without him. Something tells me that Annabeth is too smart for that. Possibly Grover too, but definitely Annabeth. So he attempts to fight the Chimera, fails miserably, and as he's about to, I guess, run away the other way, straight into the normal way out of the arch. And instead, Echinida creates this hole. Which you know what's going to happen, especially if you know that the title of this episode is I Plunge to My Death. So this is where he plunges supposedly to his death. So he falls through the hole. He tries to hang on. At first you think, okay, well maybe he'll make it. Nah. He falls, but this funnel of water catches him. And he had earlier said that Poseidon never did anything for him. So that's why he wanted Annabeth to talk to Athena, because they're cool. You know, they're on good terms. And so Poseidon is the one who saves Percy. But for some reason, Percy is anchored. His foot is anchored to the seafloor. And from what I could tell, the only body by the gateway arch is the Mississippi River. So I'm assuming that's where he is the bottom of the Mississippi River. And this creature, which looks like a jellyfish, is talking to him. I was bummed. First, I thought we would see Athena. And then I was hoping that Percy would come face to face with his father, with Poseidon. Neither cameos happened. So the spokesperson, while Percy is struggling to try to get his foot free and holding his breath, which is natural because, like he told Annabeth earlier, I've only known that I'm a demigod since Saturday. Now, we don't know how many days it's been, what day we're on, but so, but if each episode represents about a day, so I'm gonna say it's Wednesday. Anyway, so as he's struggling, the spokesperson is saying how Poseidon's always been there for you, which makes me wonder if it was Percy who saved himself from the swirly, or if it was Poseidon. It could have been either at that point, because Poseidon said he's always been there, and that, you know, just relax, just take a breath. And Percy does that, and he realizes he can breathe underwater. He's cool. And that's how it ends. So we'll just see next week what adventures they befall them. Based on what I've seen doing research, the next episode is called A God Buys Us Cheeseburgers. So it looks like they made it to the underworld. And I say that because it looks like that they are rowing down the river Styx. So I'm assuming that they make it. So I don't know if the god we see is Hades or, as I've read, Ares. Not sure. Let's see if there's anything else I missed. Oh, we find out that Pan, the god Pan, has disappeared, and that's what his uncle Ferdinand was doing when he got turned to stone. He was one of the searchers searching for the god Pan. So I wonder if that's going to be some sort of either side quest or in their quest to find out who stole the Master Bolt, if they discover Pan. Let's see, what else was there? I think I've covered everything. I think I've covered everything. So, with that, I will see you guys in the next episode.